Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. It is exactly 8:55 a.m. and next we talk with Shaheen Issu, president of Sahuk. This time around, we're going to talk about new features on their website. Just how easy it is going to make it for you and I to navigate the Sahuk website. Assalamu alaikum, Shaheen. Welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair and Julie to host us, and also to Salam Media and all the viewers out there. Thank you so much.
Okay, why is this important, Shaheen, regarding your new website, ease of use? How's it going to help us? What type of information are we going to glean from this? And is it going to make our bookings and our lives easier when we book for Umrah and Hajj, inshallah?
Well, let's first start off with the history of where Sahuk has come from. Back in 2009, the first online application process was put together by Sahuk in an administrative process. We went through, the iterations of different systems from 2009 to 2013. And as technology improved, we have to obviously improve with that as well. And from 2013 right through until 2022, alhamdulillah, we had a very stable system that we had created, continuously working with our IT developers to make sure that we have a stable process and a stable platform. Alhamdulillah, as we move on into the future of technology, in the in the space not only on Hajj and Umrah, but in the space of our realities around us. We've gone more Windows based and making it more user friendly and more effective for the pilgrims out there and for the prospective Hujjaj to necessarily navigate their way through the information once they're registered, ease of use, ease of communication, just to make it a much more simpler and much more enclosed process for them. Rather than to email Sahuk, Sahuk will deal with the query of a separate platform. Now all the queries are logged. All the queries have an audit trail. All the information that we provide is in the system and associated to an application per se. There's no duplications. There's no need for anything to fall through the cracks. And Alhamdulillah, I think that this new system, with its enhancements, is going to be very beneficial, for the Hajj industry, for the administration of Hajj, as well as in the next few months when we put together the Hajj operator portal, where the Hajj operators will basically have all the necessary workings of the system as they have in the past, but with more enhancements on it, inshallah.
Okay, what can I look forward to if I then go onto the website? Compared with in the past, how is it going to ease my navigation? What sort of information would I be able to input and then also glean from there regarding my place? With my applications, etc. I know there were glitches in the past as well, and I hope you guys have addressed it, where a husband and wife or a brother and a sister apply to go on Hajj, and then you find that the mahram has been accredited and not the person is taking long, or vice versa, and that created a lot of problems in the past. Has
Well, I
that
don't think so.
gone
Let us correct that. Let's correct
okay?
that perception.
All right.
When you have couples, or when you have a family member that applies with you, a male and a female, if the male is going to serve as a mahram, must be linked together. If the parties did not request the link, or for whatever reason one of the parties was a repeat pilgrim before, that would result in them not being accredited together.
Ah,
So the important thing is that the onus still remains on the applicant in terms of what he or she. So, for example, Julie, if you were to apply, and you've applied 5 years ago, 6 years ago on the system, you now, I'm not saying that you're not married. You are married. Your husband hasn't applied. Your husband applies now. In order for you to be a couple, you need to obviously notify Sahuk that we're a couple. We want to be linked. My husband is my mahram, and so that in the eventuality of my date coming up for accreditation, then the husband and wife will be queued together. Whereas if the
okay.
husband has applied separately and the wife has applied separately, those unfortunate situations happen where they did not make the necessary request for the link to take place. So that
Okay,
is
you've
one
yeah,
clarity.
Shaheen, let me just come in here. You've actually highlighted something very important, because I'm thinking about, and we do have these cases. You're talking about something called link, and what just popped into my head as well is there are a lot of instances. My situation, for example, is I don't use my husband's name, I use my maiden name. And if you don't create that link, you are going to have a problem going forward. Am I right?
Correct. So, but understand that it's not only about the family name, because in many of the instances, specifically from a religious point of view, Sharia does not necessitate for a female to take the husband's surname,
Of
and as a
course.
result of that, we have the situation where, for example, Julia Ali versus her spouse, and the spouse's details will then will be marked separate. The key to the whole process is to communicate with SAUC and make
Uh-huh.
sure that SAUC is aware of the fact that the two of you are married. A copy of the nikah certificate needs to be provided so that we've got record of it in the event that we get challenged. Julia Ali applied 5 years ago and Julia Ali's spouse applied 2 days ago. How come Julia Ali's spouse is now linked to her on an application 5 years ago? And that is purely based on the service of a mahram more than anything else. If, for example, your spouse has made Hajj before and he now, you're not going to go for whatever reason, work doesn't permit you or you fall ill, you delink from him because his eligibility now falls away in that particular situation. That way, we make sure that those people who are not eligible as repeat pilgrims will not go. The only repeat males that we have in the system are the males that serve as mahrams. Repeat females, unfortunately, due to the scarcity of quota, we cannot facilitate it because there are just far too many people that have not yet performed their Fard Hajj. And as a result of which, we make sure that people going to perform their Fard Hajj are going to be given preference over any repeats in the system.
Okay, so for a repeat mahram, it is allowed. But what is the
It is,
waiting
yes.
period? What would the waiting period be?
For a mahram
Yes, if he
or
has
for,
performed,
no,
no, for the mahram. Let's assume
so,
he
so
went previously with his mother, and this time around he wants to take his wife. What is the waiting period for him?
he could go next year. If he went last
Okay,
year with his mother, he could go next year. He must just register. Because remember,
okay,
at the end of the day, Sharia provides for a valid mahram. However, in the most recent weeks, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has changed the ruling in terms of a mahram. Females can travel for Hajj and Umrah without a mahram. Now, that obviously changes the process. However, when you sit and you talk to ulama in terms of the different madhahib, the Hanafi madhab says that a female cannot travel for more than 72 hours or for more than 72 hours without having a mahram with her. So the Hanafi madhab is very, very strict in terms of that situation, whereas the Shafi, the Hanbali, and the Maliki madhab allows for females who travel in a group to go for Hajj or for Umrah without having a valid mahram with them.
okay. Let me just go back to the issue around the mahram. So, if my
Mm,
mahram went on Hajj last year with his mom or his sister, I've never been on Hajj, and he wants to take me this year.
mhm.
He can apply, and it will be considered on condition that there is space available, I should imagine.
Well, at the end of the day, depends entirely on where you are in the queue. Because if you are
Ah,
number 100 in the queue and you get accredited, you are entitled to take a mahram with you. So you then make the request and say, I want to take my mahram with me, and that mahram will then fall into place. Again, I stress the point that in recent weeks, we've seen a change in the ruling in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia where you could go for Hajj on your own without your mahram. The dependency is obviously the guidance that you get from the ulama or from the imam that you would take your guidance from. Can I take my mahram or do I leave my mahram at home?
okay. So that's something that you're going to discuss with your family and make a decision
Absolutely.
based on that.
Absolutely.
What I have also noticed recently, there's been a lot of WhatsApp messages going around saying that children, I'm talking about Umrah now and this current season, children under the age of 5 are not allowed in the haram. Can you clarify what's that all about? And what about families that are planning on going or are perhaps there already and have children under the age of 5? What's going to happen to them?
There's mixed, views, or shall I say, mixed information coming out of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Unfortunately, there's an article that was dated in October of this year that was doing the rounds of recent, where it indicated children under the age of 5 are not permitted to go. And there's another article that has been doing the rounds where it says children under the age of 5, accompanied with their parents, are permitted to be in the haram area. So there's mixed and conflicting views. We are still trying to reach out to the embassy and to the ministry to get a more concrete, information, because 2 days ago, Minister of Hajj and Umrah from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia visited, Turkey, and indicated to the Turkish people that there is no age restriction, young or old. So it doesn't matter what the age is, anybody can come for Umrah. Now, if that is the case with regards to one country, it surely has to be the same for all countries around the world. We just need clarity on that.
Okay, anything else we need to know regarding, this new enhancements on the Sahuk website?
So, Julie, I think the first thing is obviously the ease of use in terms of the website from a point of view of news and information that is going to be publicized on that website. Secondly, people's place in the queue. The dynamic queuing list will certainly, be available in the next few hours. I think there was a glitch when we transferred data from our old system to the new. There's been a lot of queries and concerns of people dropping quite considerably in terms of that queue. People don't need to be concerned about that. There was a glitch. Our IT people are aware of it, and inshallah, they are in the process of doing the necessary corrections, and we will have, the dynamic list up and running again in the next few hours, hopefully before lunchtime, so that people can still visit their place in the queue. Away from that, I think it's just a case of feel and information. Eventually, what we will obviously have is an app, where people will be able to link from the app that we have to the Umrah apps that need to be booked in terms of Umrah, in terms of providing time and space available for your ziyarah in Medina and various other aspects relating to that. So we will have the necessary links available as time goes on. At this particular point in time, it's purely an information website. It's an information portal that is related to the person who has applied. So if Julie Ali has applied, you want to get onto the system, you check your place in the queue. If you want to do a link, you obviously register your spouse, you indicate to Sahuk, this is the reference number, this is the 2 ID numbers, please link us together. Those kinds of information is very easily available, whereas in the past it used to be quite cumbersome. People needed to do an email. Our admin staff would then look at the emails, go and do the changes on the system. Yeah, everything is at our fingertips. The speed of turnaround is also going to be a lot quicker, and it's going to make it much easier for the pilgrim and also more convenient, inshallah.
MashaAllah. Now, I know every time I talk with you, I ask this question, and in closing, let me ask the question once again. What does the waiting list look like?
It's unfortunately quite long for this year. 36,855 people, just first timers that are waiting in the queue for this Hajj. Obviously, COVID 2020 and 2021 has set us back quite considerably. We are praying, inshallah, that when we do have a conversation with the Ministry of Hajj, that we can put our case forward in terms of trying to solicit an increase in our quota, which will help us to reduce the the waiting period. One of the other factors of obviously that forms a very, very big concern is the cost factor in terms of Hajj. And it's not just a cost factor from a point of view of burgeoning profits or profit margins, but the costs in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is quite excessive. A friend of mine who's there right now for Umrah, I think they are about 4 or 5 people that are there for Umrah, and he says it's costing him about 500 to 700 rands per day just for meals. Now, if you consider that, and you're thinking about a 5-week or a 6-week package, it then starts adding up to your pocket as well. So we're trying to find the best possible solutions for Hujjaj in terms of half board, maybe breakfast and dinner, so that Hujjaj can be well catered for when they do go for the pilgrimage in the future year, inshallah.
Shine, and that's where we leave it till the next time. As always, thank you indeed for the sterling work being done by Sahuk and all the necessary information that we so sorely need all of the time. We'll talk again, inshallah, soon. You go well. Keep us in your du'as, and salaam alaikum to you.
Jazakallah once again, Julie, for the opportunity, to you and to Salam Media. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was President of Sahuk Shaheen Isub talking to us about the new portal and obviously suggesting that it's going to make it very easy for us to navigate that website. It is 10 after 9, exactly. News and views right here on Salam Media. A very big warm welcome to our listeners in Polokwane on One Nation FM. Thank you for joining us. Do keep us company for the rest of the hour. We've crossed over to India and Shweta Kotari is standing by. She's a journalist and we'll be talking to her in a minute or two after we've taken the news with our news correspondent Zahid Jadwit.